Shane wasn't halfway across the field when Amy disappeared past the tree line and into the thick woods. Damn, she was fast. Inhumanely fast. Straightening, he looked toward the forest. Amy ran from him. The thought sparked a sharp twinge in his chest. He inhaled against the pain. The image of her running away ripped through him in vivid waves. He needed his bike. No way she could outrun him then, and it could easily slip and slide and zigzag through the woods.
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
If you check this in the next 5 minutes, meet me at the trailer. Bring your bike. Lynn tore through the woods, the intense desire to escape back into the wild urging her on. That and the undying lust and unrelenting rage for her mate who had sliced her throat. Sliced her throat so good. No warning. No explanation. Lynn was furious, but right now she was much more hungry. Starving. Starving for him. Her whole body throbbed with desire, needling every pore of her sweaty skin. Despite her anger with her mate, she didn't hate him, not like she hated the human. Gritting her teeth, she pushed her body to run faster, away from Shane, the man who wanted to imprison her within dreadful cages. Cages of steel, cages of white, cages of plastic and metal. Cages were all the humans knew. And she was no longer human. That portion of her soul had died when her physical body bled out on the forest floor. She couldn't remember any semblance of her human world, life, or desires or ambitions. She wasn't one of them. Never had she been one of them. Even her mother had been an imposter, an alien parasite that merely inhabited the human body of a woman like a foot inhabits a sock. Maybe her mother had cared for her, if parasite worms could love. But the probable truth was that the damn parasite had been in service to its geminist masters and chosen as a loyal chaperone until her mate found her. Cosmic chance in hell. And yet, that cosmic chance happened. The crisp sounds of a forest creek babbled nearby, and Lynn paused for only a moment, detecting the direction of the creek before shooting off into that direction. When she found the cool running creek, she fell to her knees and began to lap the water with her mouth and tongue. It was a primal and an exhilarating jolt to her new inner soul. As she lapped and splashed about in the water, feeling the loose soil and gravel at the bed of the creek with her bare feet, she caught a distorted reflection of herself in the silver ripples of the clean running water. Ripples smoothed away into a polished glassy surface. There, staring back at her, was the naturally beautiful complexion of the young female's body she'd become infused inside. Such pretty, pretty skin and eyes, and radiant, healthy hair. she was a beast, and no longer would she be ensnared by a mortal's coil. Water dribbled down her chin and splashed her shirt. She stared down at herself, at her new self. After her metamorphosis into a geminous whelp, her pudgy rolls of fat had vanished, and her body had become slender and lean. Even as she knelt there by the creek, she could feel the tendons and muscles of this already toned body forming into more powerful tendons and muscles. If she leaned closer, she could actually hear the snapping of tendons as they made way for rapidly expanding muscle tissue, and the humming of nerve synapses as inhuman impulses coursed through her evolving system. But there was something else inside of her. Something she thought might be familiar. Something from a previous life, before her geminous transformation. Though the memories of her past life had mostly all emptied from her consciousness, what was that familiar sensation? Something was alive inside of her body, inside of her womb. She was with Cub, but the cub had not been spawned from she and Isaac's mating. The essence of the fetus gave off an unpleasant scent that she could detect from the inside out. Part of the fetus didn't smell right. Nevertheless, it was her geminous blood that now nursed the cub. With every passing minute, she could feel the cub mutating. The geminous blood was making him strong. Through primal instinctual senses, she could discern that the cub was hungry. He had the appetite of a tiger. She lifted her nose and sniffed.
"Let me feed you, my little one."
The almond-colored shower curtain was pushed to the back of the tub, folded up like a gutted accordion, hanging crumpled from its rust-flaked metal rod. The maiden's beautiful raven hair lay strewn haphazardly across her beautiful face, concealing one eye. And in the other eye was heart-wrenching fear. Back against the wall under the slanting beam of water, holding a razor blade. In the bottom of the tub pooled tenebrous, squirmy vegetation. The water crawled with shreds and strips of algae weed. An awful stench, like nothing he'd scented before. He held his breath and choked back the rancid vapors scratching the roof of his mouth and back of his throat.
"Are you all right, Madame Carmen? Get out of here. Get away. Let me help you." I can't stop. I just can't get rid. None of it's ever gonna go away. Leave me alone. It won't stop. They're inside of my skin.
Atticus holstered his gun.
I've seen things too. I was devoured by a monster that sent me into the time warp, and at the bottom of Sarah's pond. Tell me you see them. You see them all over me, right?
See what?
Bugs. Do you see them?
I see you and water and a bathroom. No bugs.
Just leave. Please.
As a paladin knight of the Order of Abel, it is my—
I don't care. I don't fucking care.
Carmen clawed the shower curtain into her fists, trying to drag it closed. But she jerked too hard, causing the entire shower rod to collapse.
But you are my friend.
Atticus offered his hand, palm up. With her forearm, Carmen wiped tears from her cheek. She grasped Atticus's offered hand. He pulled her from the tub. Her feet crunched the curtain on the floor. Once again, the beauty stood naked before him. But this time noisome foulness seeped from her pores, making Atticus catch his breath again. Even with the stench, she was breathtaking. Atticus turned his head, closed his eyes. He readied to turn and give her privacy, but she threw herself at him, arms around his neck, and face buried against his chest. Atticus held her tighter.
Scooter, where the fuck is my bike?
Amy wasn't sure how long she'd been running or how long she'd been wheezing, but both her throat and legs exploded with agony, forcing her to collapse next to a fallen oak. She didn't care that the oak was rotten and that gooey pieces of it fell away to reveal an entire extended family of termites who proceeded to scurry about her arms and bare shoulders. Where was Shane? Where was she? Why couldn't she remember the way home? Why wasn't she in the hospital still? What happened to the white room? Just a nightmare? Of course. Just another nightmare. Good golly. Had her entire existence become one sustained dream state? We're going to get you home. That's what Shane had told her back in the hospital room. He'd squeezed her hand gently. Her tear-stung eyes scanned the woods.
Shane?
A half dozen of the termites crawled up her neck and into her matted hair. She had no energy or will to brush them away.
Tobias!
Only one confirmed death. Yes, the cook Charlie Dugan is missing. Yes, I have indeed heard the reports of a giant mechanical spider. But I can assure you that speculations of any bizarre creature, living or mechanical, are simply the fantastical rumors of frightened townsfolk.
Can you confirm the brutal gang rape and mutilation of a Miss Amy Wintry, age 28, single woman who was employed at the diner?
I cannot. A gross exaggeration. Amy is 23, and she was not raped or mutilated. She's doing fine and has already been released from the hospital.
Is it true a wild animal is roaming the town and is responsible for the deaths of the family on Lovecraft Lane?
Neither of those incidents pertain to this investigation.
Is it possible, Sheriff, that the wild beast suspected of those deaths was also responsible for the incident at Roxy's?
Other than ludicrous reports of a giant spider, there is no animal-related commonality present to connect the crime scenes.
If I may, my sources tell me there is a commonality in these incidents. A young man was arrested at the first murder. Long red hair, dressed in green leather, goes by the name of Atticus. Was he not also at Roxy's during the time of said spider attack?
That is correct.
Has Atticus been questioned by the Buckeye authorities?
Atticus was questioned and, due to a lack of evidence, he was released. Rodney wondered if he could just end the press conference right there and walk away. But people would get the wrong idea. Or worse, they'd get the right idea. That the BPD had screwed this one up, royally. One lackadaisical officer looking to get laid, coupled with a short-staffed, overworked, and underpaid police department.
Will you pursue a case against him?
That's all for now.
Does he have friends or family here? My source says Atticus was seen with a Hispanic young woman.
I believe he has some ties with Carmen Valles, 25-year-old female, longtime resident of these here parts.
Valles, as in the Valles farm clan who've been rumored to have offered the local authorities illicit bribes?
Those are rumors that have haunted this town for decades, but I can assure you they are indeed unfounded. We'll be sure to let the public know if any new information surfaces. No further comments at this time.
Mr. Bowden, please. I work in Houston, but my sister lives right here in Buckeye with my 2 nieces. Her kids go to William Travis Elementary School, and my sister works at the post office. I grew up here myself. This is our town. My town. We have a right to know. Are we safe?
The sheriff panned to the familiar faces. Fear. They were all scared. They wanted reassurance, and he wanted to give them that reassurance. But he couldn't lie. Buckeye was under attack. By what? By who? He didn't know. He turned on his heels and started for the steps off the stage.
Sheriff!
Rodney spotted a tall figure walking toward him. Obnoxiously flamboyant colored clothing. As Cinder approached, Rodney noted the full vial in his hand. Nope. Rodney couldn't help anybody in this town. Except his wife.